we got some topics to talk about, Mom. It's the world's been moving. The world's been moving. Like we've been moving too. I guess because we're a part of the world, but we haven't connected in the midst of this movement.
What's this movie you refer to?
Bro, things are moving all around us right now. So we got the sky moving around us. Yeah, I see people right there. They're moving. But there's world actions happening right now. There's current events, headlines, some of them breaking, all movement.
I didn't know if there was anything in particular that you started talking that you were thinking about because if we're thinking about it for real, things been moving since so 1 years ago.
I wasn't taking it that far back. It was more so just like current events that have been on our radar. Like I go on the Reddit page and just see like these are news stories and things been on top of my mind. But yeah, we can take it to like BC times as well. We
BC.
want to do
I don't want to get too deep too early, but how was there a BC? How was there anything before Christ? How? Isn't he the beginning?
Yeah, I don't really know like biblical stuff like that, but I thought it was like dinosaurs. But I think like the whole kind of traditionalist or creationist take on it is that there's no dinosaurs.
I don't know, man. I seen bones. I seen bones in museums.
Proper Ebonics. Welcome to Proper Ebonics. Welcome to Proper Ebonics. You
The
already know what
building.
it is. Yeah, man. Yeah, I did see they did auction off fossils for like $36 million. And if dinosaurs don't exist and those fossils are just made like out of like chalk, they really ripped that person off. That's a rip off right there.
That
36
sound that sound like an NFT. Isn't that what people were doing? Just buying things that weren't real?
NFT, BC. There's a connection with the movements. That's yeah, I don't know if it's NFT or not. I know that was like the digital form of having the property, the NFTs of sorts. We gotta have like a financial literacy person on an episode. We gotta get one of those people, like a tech suave financial literacy savant.
We could use a financial literacy.
Uh,
What do you call them? A
uh,
financial liter.
a get money brother.
There
That's
you
what I
go.
call them. Get money brothers. That's
We need a GMB on the show. That's what we need. You know what I'm saying?
it's that's a get money brothers. You can always determine as a get money brother when you see their phone and the screensaver is just rolled up $100 bills. It's not even like them holding $100 bills. It's just like animated. Everything's just money around the phone.
You know it's a GMB if they got two phones.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's like yeah, I'm working. I got two phones right here. This is my personal, but this is also my real estate phone. I'm a landlord. I own 17 properties, all within Chester County.
And then what they do is when they sit down, they make sure they put them all on the table. So
I
you
think
guys know, everybody in the room know I got four phones.
that's it. Hey, I'm so glad to take time on a busy schedule to visit this Chili's with you guys. But it's hard for me to sit down with my 8 phones in my pocket. Please just don't mind me as I put them out through here. Waiter, don't touch them.
Matter of fact, don't bring my fajitas out on a plate. Put them on a hot phone. I have an extra one.
It's, in
It's
fact,
like I'm
guys,
ridiculous.
I can't actually sit here at this Chili's. I gotta go. It's so nice to interact with you for a split second. Yeah, man, we gotta get Money Brother on here. I know if you get Money Brothers.
You do. We gotta have them all, man. Real. 'Cause I feel like most of our seriously speaking, most of our guests are comedian homies.
Yeah.
Um, we haven't had anyone outside of comedy as a guest.
So when we first started, I pitched a few different ideas. Like I remember like first episode, uh I mean not first episode, but one of the first ones I was like, we should have a cop. We should have a cop on the show.
I
uh,
remember. I
yeah, and then
remember.
I was like, well, damn, we gotta find a cop. And then we stopped discussing that. 'Cause,
No, 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 no. We had a cop. We did have a cop.
who was the cop?
David James.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I
David
guess
James. Wasn't he a cop
he
before
was. He
comedy?
had. I think he like did some sort of. He had a degree in like criminal justice. I don't know if he was like a cop, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We got to go revisit the David James episode to see that we fulfilled that goal. Yeah, he was. And then I feel like we wanted to have a dancer. We wanted to have a stripper on the show, I feel like you had a friend that was like also a dancer. I was like, we should have her on. And then it was like I called her out, and you said, "Don't call her by her name." And then it was a whole thing.
I hope she's doing okay, man. I haven't heard from her in years. She had a drug problem, really bad drug problem.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah, yeah. So I hope she's doing all right. If you're listening,
It's,
we're
did
thinking about you.
do you see it recently? Like we're gonna get to the topics that are moving the world.
But
World
first,
movement. We're gonna the movement's gonna happen. But before we get into that, I saw a bunch of comics were doing a show at Savannah's. They're at the strip club. They're twirling on the pole.
yeah, I'm not sure it's strip club before.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's some of the worst venues for comedy. It's
It
just
seems like it wouldn't be great. Too many mirrors. Too many mirrors. That's my take on the strip club shows.
it was to me it was too many nipples. Like, how do I compete?
It's,
Like, come on, man. Everybody's looking at them. I'm trying to draw punchlines. It's not working.
it's, you whip your nipples out. That's yeah. I was like,
That's the only way I can get anybody's attention. It's like, hey, look.
the real way to get attention is like just take a few dollar bills out while you're on stage. That seems to like get people going at strip clubs.
Yeah, man. But it's the worst for comedy. Okay.
So, and I'm not trying to like get too scandalous. It's morning time and all that stuff. And there may be a Dijon in the apartment right now. She may or may not be in a nightie making or not making breakfast. Come on,
Visuals.
man. The listeners right now, if you go into the YouTube page, the images that are showing behind Kirk right now are quite crazy. It's not actually happening
Just
right now.
behind you on the wall right behind you, or
I
you
was
mean
trying to, I was trying to, I was trying to trick the listeners. I was trying to trick the listeners to have them suggest that there's a honey Dijon behind me in a blue satin nightgown, but I was playing a trick on them. It's not actually the case.
think
But
your trick failed.
um, but shout out to the comics that did this club, the strip club show. I've never performed at a strip club. Uh, they had one in Philly for a while where an open mic was happening there on Fridays, and I never made it out to it. But I'm curious what kind of audience comes out because I feel like you have to be like the regular at the strip club to be like, oh yeah, I'll check out an open mic at a like who. How do you find people to come to be audience members?
It's either one or the other. You're either a loyal supporter and you've seen the flyer in the bathroom one day where you're peeing,
Yeah.
or you don't even know it's a strip club. You're just like, oh, Savannah's. That sounds nice.
it's It
If you
sounds like
just
it'd be a Mediterranean restaurant. Savannah sounds like it could definitely be that. Producer Pat gave great suggestion. It's a casino crowd. Yeah, I think there's some sort of affiliation there.
yeah, everybody smokes cigarettes indoors that goes to those kind of shit.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like those shows a lot of smoking indoors. That's a vibe that I get from that.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I'm sure you can have fun if there. Okay, this is what I think. If there are no sexy, as long as there are no sexy half-dressed, scantily clad girls walking around, you can have a successful show. But when you got, like, I remember the one show I did, there weren't strippers, but there were bottle girls.
Uh,
They were just strippers with Coronas in their hands. You know what I mean? So it's just like same thing.
oh, the bottle girls, man. That's the bottle girls are gonna get tough when they hear that. They're gonna be like, "What's Alan? There's a difference."
Bottle, bottle girls are just strippers without confidence.
Wow, goddamn. That's
Just take it all off. You're already there. What you mean?
is the assumption is that strippers are bottle girls without self-esteem? Is that the inverse of that?
Strippers are bottle girls that are confident in themselves. You're not going to make me do this with my queens. My queens of the pole, okay? No. Listen, those are our confident queens up there shaking their butts. The ones walking around with sparklers. You already got your underwear up your butt. What are you doing? Just go get some real money.
Oh my goodness. People that are listening to this, you don't have to follow that direction. If you're a bottle girl, listen to proper Ebonics on your way to go serve some bottles. Keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. Serve those bottles.
Ask them why they don't strip instead. Ask them why they don't strip.
Yeah, man. Wait, hold on one second. My penis is hurting. Hold on.
I was cooking. Man, I was cooking.
You were cooking?
I was cooking.
What were you cooking?
Hot takes.
Yeah, that's
Hot,
sorry for
about hot cakes.
there's an interruption. There's a water burst in my apartment. I had to duct tape it.
I don't know if that's code for anything else, but I'm just gonna run with it.
Yeah,
I'll just run with it.
yeah,
But
man.
but yeah, strip club comedy shows.
It's I think with that, I'm ready to talk about some of the movements that have been happening
Oh, what's
in
been
this.
going on, man? A lot of
Uh,
things happen.
First off, last Saturday, do you remember where you were?
Did I have a show? I think I was at a show. I don't even know what's going on. That's when that guy almost got assassinated.
Yeah. So for those that haven't heard by now, Donald Trump was doing a speech in Butler, PA, which I thought was like in Central PA. It turns out it's closer to like Pittsburgh. And yeah, he was doing a speech, and a lone sniper of sorts took a few shots at him and grazed his ear. And yeah, he was shot in the ear. He went down, got back up, and the shooter was shot soon after. And what's followed is a bunch of just ideas of about the shooter, like where is the shooter from? What exactly were the motives? What exactly? It seemed like the shooter was roaming around the area for a while. It was 2 hours. Secret Service had spotted him. There's video of the shooter climbing the roof, and some of the crowd members pointing him out, being like, "Oh, who is that guy on the roof?" And it was good 3 minutes before the shots were had. They were notifying officials, and sufficient action was not taken, which has led to some thought of why didn't Secret Service do more action? Have you been hearing a little bit more rumblings about this?
Yeah, man. Of course, it's hard not to. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I think that so. I actually do remember where I was at. I was at a show, and I did a joke about it that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember because I have a joke about how my kids don't let me take pictures of them. Right?
Mm.
They're like I don't understand how other parents get their kids on Facebook. Like, I can't. I don't have no pictures other than pictures that I take out of their phone or something like that. You know. And I said the joke is when I pull my phone out, my daughters act like I'm about to shoot them. They're like, "Oh, oh!"
It's,
So I said, my daughters they were like Trump, like, "Oh." Oh.
it's that's
So
so did you see some of the stuff they have of like it's pretty much like a visualized model of what it would look like if Trump did not turn his head at a particular point. So like I guess his head was in one position for a while. He turned it, and that's when the shots were fired, and that's how it grazed his ear. They've shown photos of what it would look like if he didn't turn his head and trajectory of the bullet, and it would have been much more like in his head, sort of thing like that. Which my take on that is that probably the sniper had Trump in his scope, and then Trump moved his head and was like, I can't switch it now. I'm already ready to do this. And then just kind of like did it. And yeah, it ended up just grazing the head. And it did kill someone in the crowd, which is kind of crazy. It's not really spoken about as much of like, it was like 4 people in total were hit by this, which like apparently that constitutes it being a mass shooting. So like I feel like that's something that's not really spoke about as much of this was a
ain't
mass
no
shooting involving a former president.
ain't no mass shooting. One
I think
person one person died. How that's not mass? That's one.
well, mass not mass killing, but like mass shooting though. Like a first if you're able to look it up, like what constitutes a mass shooting, and apparently number 4 is what constitutes.
No, mass is 7. I just made it. Mass is 7.
It makes
One.
sense. Like if I would believe that more because it's like all right, well you put it with several, but yeah, apparently it's 4. But I may be incorrect if we may get some insight on that one. I will where I was in Central PA, and I was shout out to Glenn Tickle. I was out there. and I pull up to the venue. It's for show. I pull up, and then I see like an image of like shooting at Trump rally, and then I see a photo with Secret Security or the agents
Secret
pretty much
Service.
around Secret Service. That's the word for it. Around Trump, and he has like blood on him, and I assumed it was like, oh, they like brought him to the ground, and it was like he got a scratch from being knocked down. I didn't realize till right before my set that it was like, oh, it grazed him, sort of thing like that. And the crowd didn't know. And I was kind of I was assigned with the idea of like, oh, do I tell the crowd this? Like, do I break the news to the crowd? In central PA, where it's like there's a lot of tank tops, I'll put it that way, a lot of tank tops, a lot of eagle tattoos. Do I put it there, or do I just leave it be and then maybe afterwards? Because one, I didn't have like a joke ready for it. So just be like, oh, here's a story. Now here's Glenn
Yeah.
Till. Like it was like kind of put him in that position. So ultimately I just did my thing, did not mention it. I alluded to some stuff, but didn't mention it directly.
So I'm gonna just be honest. I don't know if he got shot.
Really? Whoa.
That don't look like a. I feel like because that they didn't even confirm that. It hasn't been confirmed that Donald Trump has been shot and grazed in his ear. That wasn't confirmed.
Some news stories, I think like AP News, maybe one of them, of like I think they used the term like Trump allegedly shot or Trump claims to be shot. Like they didn't flat out say it because there's speculation. And I get it to an extent. Like if there's going to be speculation of any like former president, I kind of get why it would be towards Donald Trump. And just also, I don't know if you feel this way, but immediately after I saw it, I was like, oh, he's going to be kind of deemed as very heroic after this. Like his voters are going to be very empowered after seeing
Yeah.
someone get shot, get back up, making the chance. I feel like that's makes them. They've been using the term badass like left and right. It's kind of nauseating at this point, but like he's a real badass, and I feel like that's kind of the message that comes out after this.
Like if that's the case, Evander Holyfield's a badass. He lost his whole ear. What are we
Yeah,
talking about here?
yeah.
Like I'm not saying this was staged. No, I'm not saying none of all that stuff. I'm just saying that I think that like because I seen somebody say like it could have been the teleprompter grazed them, or when he fell and got tackled by 8 dudes, or like I don't know. I've seen someone get grazed in the head. I've seen so it's like I don't know. It didn't look like that. So it's kind of like I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
did.
don't
Well, I did hear that about the teleprompter part too. That apparently it was like the teleprompter like was clipped and that hit him. But the idea that a bullet went by and directly killed someone behind him shows that there was force and it was capable of grazing. So I don't know for sure if that were the case. Nonetheless, though, and producer Pat, thanks for pulling it up. Apparently, the number's three. Didn't know that. I
killing
thought it'd
for
be
killings. That's for killings. It's for
for
shootings. That's for
mass.
killings.
Oh, for Matt,
Mass
you're right.
killings.
Yeah. Okay.
There's mass killings in the hood every day.
No,
But
no.
mass shootings though, like I shoot, four people get shot at clubs all the time.
It's Chuck E. Cheese right there.
Yeah. Could be a strip club where comedy shows going there. You never know.
I'm sorry for derailing your strip club comedy take. I feel like you have
I
more
was
ammo,
cooking.
perhaps.
I was cooking. Well, I've been thinking about that for years.
Bro, I had to talk to my Dijon. She was dipping out. I had to. She was.
No, you didn't. No,
Bro,
nah, yo,
bro, she
no,
was. Bro, she was looking
no,
fly as hell. You knew she was looking fly
no,
as hell.
no, dog.
Mm,
It's unacceptable. And I'm
I
gonna
like
tell the
so.
people it's
Mm,
unacceptable.
how so?
I was in the middle because I was in the middle of cooking. If we was just talking on some humbug or it was your turn, that'd be
Mm.
different. I was literally getting my joke off, and you gave her a kiss goodbye.
I was so not to say what constitutes and constitutes as cooking and not cooking, but we weren't going too crazy. I feel like we're getting the engine going.
I was in the middle of my strippers and bottle girl debate that I've been thinking about for years. And it finally comes up. He's like, wait, she looks good.
She was looking good. She looking good as hell. But my apologies though. It's fine. We don't really do pauses anymore. That's something that we've done in our former episodes when we were in person. I feel like once or twice we had paused the episode and come back. That may have been a good pause break. I feel like, hey, Pause your take on this thought you've had in your head for years. I gotta go kiss my Dijon on the forehead.
Yep. She's about to go to work at a strip club. That's where she's going.
Well, or yeah, take that back. Yeah, I take that back.
That's payback for cutting me off.
Yeah, don't hurt my loved ones from things that I be saying. You
That's,
know
I just
that's
pulled.
fun.
I just pulled the drink.
Yeah, that's you're acting like a real certified lover boy right now. That's my thing about that. That's well,
Oh, that
well,
was so good. I
it
feel
was
so much
not.
better.
It was. It was
I, I feel so much better now, though. I do.
well,
I
I'm
feel like
glad that's the case. But dog, we're in the midst of talking movement. We're there's movements happening, and where we're talking about bottle services.
your man turned his head. Like that's saved his life apparently, yo. Like
Yeah,
you
man.
know what I thought was crazy, bro? Like as the footage started coming out and they were like showing like people were recording the dude on the roof. Like that's insane. They were
Mm.
recording the guy on the roof
I saw
setting up.
that was one of the wildest things I saw because I was like, oh, because they it wasn't like they were just recording and no audio. It was recording and them being like, yo, cops, like there's a guy up there. And like it was they did a in sync of the recording and where he was with his speech. And it was a full like 2 minutes before the shot went off. So it's just like, damn, like that's apparently they kept being reports of like someone went up there, like a sheriff of something like that, but he aimed a rifle at the sheriff and the sheriff was like, oh, and which I don't know, something about that seems not accurate. Like you see
That's
someone,
that's crazy.
yeah, they put someone in jail for that. I remember the Parkland shooters. It was like the cop was it Parkland or Sandy? I'm pretty sure it was Parkland, but it was pretty much a cop being like, "Yo, we can't go in there. We can't take action." And then it led to like a bunch of shootings and deaths. And that officer faced like some charges because of that. So
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what sort of how true that is. The sheriff seeing the person and then not doing anything, but yeah, I don't know too much about like they're saying some conspiracies about like this kid was put up to it. He's a registered Republican, all that stuff. Like why was he aiming if with like if this is like the major Republican candidate? Was he put up to it sort of thing? I'm like you. I don't think it was staged. I think it was a very real thing, and just lack of action was taken. Why? That I don't know. But
Yo, bro, to be laying out, my man literally he was tanning. I seen he had a bottle of SPF next to him,
really,
and he
oh,
and he had cucumbers on his eyes before he took the shot. I'm like, yo, how long are you gonna let this guy just sit up there with a rifle? Like it's crazy, bro.
yeah,
Crazy.
no, it's a lot of people were as I'm sure you saw the people were playing Many Men saying like 50 Cent that night had a concert and he had that image of Donald Trump as in his face imposed on the Get Rich or Die Trying album cover and he put that on while playing Many Men solidifying that 50 Cent is down with RNC pretty heavy.
That's not what that signifies. If anybody knows 50 Cent, you knows that he's the biggest troll. He thinks for himself. No,
Yeah,
he not down with no party. Like 50 Cent
no.
gonna do whatever he want. It don't matter. So I
he
don't think
showed
that's it.
he did show up at that Colorado senator's place that Lauren Bobbitt.
Uh,
He did like a photo shoot with her not like a few weeks ago. Um, so no strong stance or whatever that, but I think that is like he's down with that.
once you get shot 9 times, you can do whatever you want to do. Nobody's gonna tell you anything. Okay, you can do
Yeah,
whatever he wants.
yeah. That's well, that's what kind of what Trump is having right now. He's having his 50 Cent moment. It's like it's funny when I saw the thing and I was talking about it. I was like, yeah, that I get the appeal of why that looks cool. Like that'd be cool if that happened to me. If I'm like making a speech, someone shoots me, I move my head, I matrix out of it, and I graze my ear, and I come back up. I do the DX. Like I feel pretty nice right there. I feel kind of wavy.
You saying you want to get shot for the women in the bottle service at the club? That's what you're saying.
That's I don't know if I'm gonna frequent the bottle service sort of thing. Maybe I'll bring my boys and all that stuff and my girls. We come through like let's celebrate this near death experience and the resiliency that came with it. No, I don't want to get shot, obviously, but it's one of those things where like you see how it's kind of put up on the light of being heroic in a lot of ways. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
survived this.
One thing I don't like is how even black people do it. It's like, well, he got shot, like 50 Cent, whatever. He black now. He got shot. It's like that don't make you black, bro. Like you just
Hmm.
a white guy that got grazed or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you're not black. You know what I'm saying? Like
What is
that.
so you may be more on top with this, like because I've seen people say this, but it's like I've seen white people say it though. Of like, oh, like it's really gonna appeal to the black voters now that you've been shot. And I'm like, I don't that's such like a it feels like a minority of the black voters of like that's like if you're like into just like maybe like hip hop or whatever, all that stuff. But like I don't think majority of like working class black people are like, oh man, someone got shot. I'm going to switch my political views completely because you align with one of my favorite rappers from 28 years ago.
Like I don't want to know your stance on climate control. Let me see your bullet wounds.
Yeah. Are you the Teflon Don? So I'm surprised he's not going by that. He's not going by Teflon Don.
I'm sure he has. I feel like I've heard that before.
It's so Teflon Don is like that's just a term and like other rappers have used it, but like with his name being Donald.
No, what I'm
Kind of,
saying is I feel like I've heard people call him that before
oh, Teflon Don.
because he's beat all these cases and got all these felonies and stuff like that. I feel like I've heard this
Oh, Teflon Don. Yeah.
Teflon Don. Yeah, but like he's definitely Teflon Don for real now. But the people that the white people that say him getting shot and him having felonies for the appeals to black voters, those are the white people that have inherent biases about black people,
Yeah.
negative biases about black people already. You know what I mean? So it's like when they see black people, they see criminals, they see people that got shot. So it's
Yeah.
like, how was Donald Trump going to appeal to, I don't know, the black doctor from the suburbs? Like, how did like?
How's he going to appeal to Dr. Huxtable if he's only
I mean, he might appeal to that guy. You never you
yeah.
never know. I'm sure they probably party back in the '80s.
Yeah.
Um, but
Listen,
yeah,
man.
like the black people too. The black people, there's probably like 4% of black people. Like, oh, he got felonies. That's my president, whatever. Like they're just ignorant people. You're gonna have
Yeah.
that. You're gonna have that amongst all races. Yeah.
I I do want to I know we're talking about the movement and such, but we gotta be careful what we say, man. We gotta be pretty careful with like the words we use around this. And I don't know if you saw this on the day of that night. So 50 Cent was doing his thing. There's another concert going on. Tenacious D, Jack Black, and is it Kyle Grass? I believe.
I'm not sure of his name.
Yeah, but they've been together for years. Kyle Gas. They've been together for years. They do like their tours. It's kind of like metal, but kind of like a comedic element to it as well. They were set to do a few DNC based fundraisers, but on the night of this, I guess it was Kyle Gas' birthday. They did a whole happy birthday, brought a cake out, and he voiced his wish, which in general, don't voice the wish. No, you got to be careful when voicing the wish out. And something along the lines of that of his wish was that that the shooter did not miss. So it's kind of like they're jokes. They make jokes and all that stuff. It didn't necessarily resonate well. It did not resonate well. I don't know how it hit with the crowd, but it got a lot of backlash.
I guess that shot was spot on with the crowd. Hit them spot on.
You're cooking.
My bad.
um,
He didn't miss. All right, go ahead.
well, later on, Jack Black, who's been working with Kyle for like 20 plus, probably more than that years, said that he made a tweet saying that he was taken aback by it. He was shocked by it. He doesn't condone political violence. And their tour, I don't know if it's a world tour or not, but their tour has come to a close indefinitely. Kyle Gass has been dropped from his agency. And who knows? This may be the end of Tenacious D, all over a birthday wish joke.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
No more D.
yeah, man. They've been doing this for years. So like, I have two different takes on it. So it's like they're immersed in a lot of like the kind of political stuff, maybe in terms of like the performances that they do. Jack Black, obviously, this huge comedic star. and he has this band here as well. Part of me kind of gets why Jack Black would be like, oh, okay, like, because one, he didn't say it, and he may not even feel that way. He may be suave enough to recognize, like, oh yeah, like even if it's a joke, don't say this on stage right after. It's not going to hit well or resonate well with people.
Yeah.
So I get why he would kind of be like, oh yeah, I didn't do that. I genuinely was shocked. Then there's the other side of it too, where it's like they're like boys and boys for like years, and an idea of like, did he throw him under the bus? Maybe not necessarily, but like to kind of put the end to the tour and make that statement. I'm kind of wondering what their conversation was like privately. Like, did he have a talk with him? Like, hey, can you address this? Or because I can't really rock out if after you make a statement like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think of that component of it?
About Jack Black's statement or whatever.
Yeah, well, Jack Black, like, yeah, like the idea of them one breaking up, but also like, yeah, Jack Black kind of maybe not being full blown, like either not saying anything or just kind of not riding with him, sort of thing.
I think that Kyle should have. Did he make a statement like, "Yo, I'm sorry"?
He did, then deleted it. Apparently, he made an Instagram thing, then deleted it shortly after.
And then that's when everything ended because
No,
like,
so this was after. So he made the apology like after everything, and then deleted it.
yeah, I don't know. It's you put Jack Black in a tough spot.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, you're in a group, like you're not solo. Like when you solo, you can do whatever you want, but it's tough being in a group. Like if me and you were on stage and I said something crazy,
it
let's put you in,
happens.
let's put you in.
It's I've been in this. I've been in Jack Black situation a few times. It's
Never, no, nobody's ever tried to assassinate the president since I've known you. But it's tough, man. Jack Black got people. He in the more queen of corporate world. Like I don't know who Kyle Gass is. Like
mm,
Jack Black is the more of the face. You know what I mean? So you
right.
put him in a tough spot. He can't have his name out there attached to some BS like that. So
Yeah. It's always like those throwaway jokes too. It's never like this isn't a real solidified worked on bit. It's always like here's just something I just flippantly threw out there that gets people in trouble.
well, that's because it's just thrown up. It's just flippantly put together real quick. Another good put
Yeah.
together bits or
All right.
good put together bits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's whatever take you may have politically and all that stuff. I think most people kind of agreed. It was like, it just wasn't a good joke, and it was kind of like, like it's like I'm kind of the elk of regardless of like how I may feel about like politics of it all and like Trump of it all. I mean, some of it's pretty crazy. I was looking at that Project 2025 stuff. I guess I can't come to the idea of like, oh yeah, like I want someone to be assassinated. I can't come to
Yeah.
those terms.
And
Um,
you don't want nobody to die.
yeah, it's and I think there for a lot of people maybe feel opposite and feel like maybe it's for like a in some ways like a greater cause in some ways. I'm not necessarily the person to be able to speak to that, but for myself, I can't be wishing that on people like that.
I do wish that everything didn't end for this guy over a joke. Like
Yeah,
you get dropped from your agency, everything gets canceled. Like just there's like people that are pedophiles with jobs right now. Like my man said something wrong. He did say something bad. His whole thing should be over. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I
Over
think
one thing.
maybe what it will look like after the election things slow down, maybe we'll see it kind of come back. Maybe it's just one of those things where it's like the block is hot right now. And then like Jack Black comes back around like, oh, it's Kyle, brings him out on stage, people go crazy.
That may happen, but we're in a very sensitive time. It's real. I don't think. Okay, I knew it's been a sensitive time, but I've been more active online the last 2 weeks, like getting jokes off, and they are sensitive. Like
Yeah.
they are really in my comment. I've been the Trumpers. They call me a Timu Terrence Howard. They call me
What? What they called you? A what, Terrence Howard?
Timu Terrence Howard. You
Oh,
like that?
that's that's so that's,
Call me a Timu Terrence. I found out that I'm a lip tar inbred crock wearer.
is that like a dish? That sounds like a
Croc.
dish.
Crocs. You know the Crocs.
Oh yeah, it's, damn, they're rolling you up right now. I know you're getting burnt in the comment section.
You know why? It's all because after the Trump's assassination attempt, like as he was getting up off the ground, he could be heard telling Secret Service, "Let me put my shoes on."
I,
What? Well, how'd your shoes come off, bro? Like, what is happening?
that's a wild move right there. Like, because they're very much like, we gotta get you off stage. Like, let me get the shoes. My thought is that he probably wanted to take advantage of him, had like the wherewithal, be like, oh, okay, I should probably acknowledge the crowd. This may look a certain way in terms of like art. Maybe that's just not what he was thinking. And then the shoes is just an excuse that, oh, let me get my shoes. But really, it's like when you're a kid and it's like oh, I guess got to go run in and grab something really quick. But really, it's like you're sneaking into like, I don't know what kids do. For me, I was a pervert, so I know what I was doing in those moments. But uh, hey guys, I know the Diplo, the cab's outside and all that stuff, but I gotta run in really quick. And it's like I just want to check things out real quick down there. Just one more moment for myself. So yeah, he was maybe having one of those where it's like, oh yeah, let me go check my shoes. But really, it's like I want to get close to the crowd and do one of these situations.
So what you're saying is, let me put my shoes on is code word for get up, let me look like a hero. Is that what it is?
I think in some ways, yeah. I guess the adrenaline from some things too. I don't really know what was going through his mind that way, but like that's what I took that as.
I had said that Trump getting shot and then saying, "Let me put my shoes on." That's like what an old guy on his way to the hospital would say. Let me put my shoes. Matter of fact, lock the back door. And I put that online, and they were like, "You look tired. You're not even funny. Don't quit your day job." Like too late.
I love platitudes like that of like, don't quit your day job. Like you're trying to convey to someone like, hey, I don't like the thing that you're doing, so don't quit your day job. To drop that in full earnestness and be genuine about it. It's like, what are you doing, you bozo? What are you?
Yeah.
There's so many other ways that you could have said that, but people rely on platitudes.
They you know what I just realized on Instagram too? This is how much I don't be active on Instagram. I didn't know that you could make it so people can't leave you a comment. Like,
Yeah.
no, not like the poster. Like say I post on my page, right? People leave comments. I can't reply to their comment.
What do you mean?
There's a feature where you can make it so people can't reply to people can't tag
Oh,
you.
so like I can make a comment and then be like, yo, you can't reply to this. So I just say some crazy shit, leave it, and then you can't reply. That is crazy. That is insane.
That doesn't seem fair. That's what gets me mad. It ain't the comment, it's the fact I can't send that back. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
that's cheap. That's weird that they even have that as a feature because it's like, why are you protecting the commenter?
If I can't tag you, you shouldn't be able to comment.
Yeah, that's silly. I didn't know that feature existed.
I
I
had no
gotta
idea.
check my new main post to make sure they didn't say anything too crazy on me that I'm not able to defend myself at Acadia National Park. Before we get into some of the more nature aspects of the last few weeks, one of the things we was talking about older guys going to the hospital. I saw an older guy not necessarily going to the hospital, but being on a notification. President Joe Biden, he is tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh, Joe, man, I said the good part about this is you don't got to worry about the long-term effects.
Goodness Christ! Now you're cooking.
Get it? Because
That was good. You post that online?
you already know. You already know I'm posting this.
That's good.
I've been in my bag, man.
That's solid, man. Yeah, so he's tested positive, and one of the things that he's been getting more and more pressure to step out of the race. George Clooney wrote like a whole article on it. He wrote a op-ed, I think it's called. Yeah, I was surprised by that too, because I was like, Joe, like I feel like they ride with each other and all that. But he was like, Joe Biden, I saw 3 weeks before a debate, was not the Joe that I know from 2020. This was Sleepy Joe. I don't think he said Sleepy Joe, but like he was pretty much like, this dude's clearly having a cognitive decline. And apparently there's been pressures from other Democrats as well after the debate. And yeah, more and more people have been kind of pressuring him. And with his interview with Lester Holt, Biden said that he would not consider dropping out unless there was some sort of medical condition. And now people are suggesting, oh, with COVID, what if it's a thing they're using as an excuse, or maybe he will drop due to having this COVID thing. Do you, with the evidence that we have now, do you think President Biden is going to drop out of the race?
But George Clooney said makes a good point. He said that
It's the first time I've ever heard that sentence on this podcast. But
because I don't even think he meant to make this point, but he said that this is not the same Joe from 2020, right? And it's not, because old people age how babies age. So like babies from their like birth to like 5, they're learning and gaining so much, and everything's coming to them so quickly. It's the
yeah,
exact opposite for old people.
yeah,
Those last 5 years,
they start
you
declining.
yeah. So it's like that's why he seems so much worse now, because like he on that back 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's kind of cool when you think of it that way too. Of like, oh man, for first 5 years you have this like rapid pace of progression, and then for the declining years you have like the rapid pace of just degression. The diapers get back in the mix and all that stuff. It's kind of cool when you think of it that way in terms of the natural course of things. But when it comes to the president of the United States,
The president,
a little bit, it could be a bit concerning.
kind of scary.
So there's a lot of talks before of especially with shows like The Daily Show, which if you haven't been watching, The Daily Show on Mondays when Jon Stewart's doing it, it has been very good. It's very cool to see him back. There's been a lot of criticism for people like Stewart and just like journalists in general, where there's been so much focus on the cognitive decline of Biden and less focus on some of the stuff that Trump has been saying, which like there's been a lot of fact checking with things where it's like, all right, well, that's not true. You're kind of just throwing stuff out there. Again, the idea of the affiliation of the Project 2025 one, people are a little more, it seems like there has been much attention to that. And I think, and this has been echoed by other people as well, the reason of that is that with Trump, it's kind of like you kind of like know that like Trump's not doing anything that's like, oh wow, that's so shocking for Trump. It's like we know that that's what Trump's going to do. Versus Biden, we have a little bit more of an expectation, and to see that like he is so far removed from what we expect from Biden, I do think it is a little bit more notable, especially since he is a sitting president. So I think there's been a lot of criticism in that way. Do you feel like it's fair of media, I guess including ourselves, to put a strong emphasis on Biden's cognitive decline, apparent cognitive decline, versus putting more of a highlight on some of the things that Trump's putting out there and policies that he may be proposing?
There's too much lies that Trump tells to keep up with, all of them. So what Biden is it's just he's old. That's it. It's one thing. Every
I want to
time
make
Trump,
a quick distinction though, because I feel like a lot of people when saying the old stuff, I feel like there's people Biden's age that are fine. So like for like I don't even know if it's necessarily like an old thing. I think that is like, yeah, he is old, but it's like I think it really is like a mental thing too. Because like you could have someone that's up in that age that can still be with it. He just happens to not be one of those people.
I don't want anyone that age running the country.
It is kind
You
of a
know what I
wild
mean?
thing. Yeah.
I just don't. Like, he should not be running. Right. I don't want anybody that old running the country. But I think that the problem is he has this one problem, is that he's old. Like, that's the problem. The cognitive decline, that's his issue. Trump got a million things. He lies 20 times every time he opens his mouth. So it's hard to like, it's not like, all right, Trump got 34 felonies. That's the problem. Biden is old. That's the problem. Let's put our two problems together and go at it. No, it's
Yeah.
like Biden got this one problem versus all of Trump's stuff. And there's so much stuff that keeps coming. Nothing really sticks because it's something new every day.
Yeah. Which is a wild strategy of like, yo, just keep doing wild stuff and they won't notice the other wild thing that I did. That may be in some sort of communication book. Like,
Right.
it's-
If Trump wrote a book on how to stay relevant, I'm sure it'd be New York's bestseller. Like, because bro just
already
keep
is, I
doing.
think.
He keep doing stuff and it keep happening. He's like, you know what? Things getting cold. Next thing you know, he telling people to fight with blood in his ear. It's just like, what is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, and I think there's a thing too, and this may be conspiratorial thinking in some ways, but I remember during his not during his pregnancy, during his pregnancy, during his presidency, but before that, while he was campaigning, I remember there's so many like media outlets that are like would be like left leaning and very much like we hate Trump, this and that, but they would nonstop just talk about him. They would put him in the forefront of our minds. Although they're saying like, oh yeah, he stinks or whatever, he's this and that. It's like, yeah, you put him on to host SNL. Like you gave him that spotlight, and you know that's what fuels him. So like I always thought that was kind of a thing where it's like the flip side of that now where they're focusing more on Biden, maybe they're using those strategies in a way of like, okay, keep talking about Biden, put him in the forefront of our minds, and that's what's going to stand out. So in a way, I was kind of relieved in some ways that it wasn't as much Trump talk, even though it was at expense of the mind abilities of Joe Biden.
So you think for the presidential election, any publicity is good publicity, then, huh?
In some ways, yeah, I think it's gotten to that point, and not always the case. So we look at like what was the dude's name, Dean Howard, the guy who was like running for Democratic presidency. I want to say 2004, and he's the guy that like he was like, and we're gonna go to Kentucky, we're gonna go to Alabama, yeah, like he did the and yeah, and like that was a lot of publicity, not good publicity. Like I was like, that was one. But I think where we're at now, with like just there's a big entertainment theatrical element more than ever. I think, yeah, I think it's one of those things where more publicity, more on top of your mind, the better chances.
Yeah, it's the era we're in. It's the attention era, social media era. So yeah, like you gotta be popular. Like
Yeah.
that's what they're saying. That's why they're afraid to replace Biden because who's gonna be more popular than him in 4 months? Like,
I don't. I was thinking about it. I was like, who can they get? Who could Bruce Pat? If you could play the who could replace President Joe Biden in 4 months span music. Yeah, I
um,
was thinking like, so who are the candidates? We got Kamala Harris. We got there.
really, it's really honestly, it's only three candidates, and they all black women.
Wait, there's two other
Got
black women.
Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, and Beyonce. Other than that, there's no way they're gonna beat Trump. Like you need one of them.
Beyonce may be the move right there. I know a lot of people are saying Michelle Obama, which like the thing is like, well, both Obamas. Like I think it would actually be a really good chance in a lot of ways, particularly like Barack Obama, President Barack Obama. Excuse me. However, I don't want President Barack Obama to go through the stress of that. I genuinely don't want that. I feel like he did his thing. Kind of, if he's retiring, that's cool. I don't want to put him through that stress. That's personally my take. Beyonce though, Beyonce, she's in the mix right now. She's all about kind of spicing things up. She has the country album and all that stuff. If she wants to throw some politics in there. That's I'm not opposed to that. Could be curious, at least check it out.
So you willing to put you really to put Jay-Z's mental health on the stake here? Is that what you're saying? Because you
Well,
know you
I'm
care about
saying
Obama, but you don't care about Jay-Z.
no, man. You know I care about Jay-Z. You know I care about Chicken Man. I think they have their. It's something that they have the capacity for right now if they really wanted to. Same with like The Rock. I'm like they have the capacity where it's like they could kind of roll with it at this point in their life and careers and all that stuff. If Rock wants to do it, then go for it, sort of thing. It's just it seems like it would be kind of a stressful position.
So you're saying you would vote for The Rock? I mean, Rock
Yeah,
has
I don't
much
know.
here.
I don't really know The Rock's like political positions, all that stuff. If he's like, we got to put like more money into the military and all people that are in grades K through 12 get people's elbow on Friday or something like that. It's like I don't know. It seems kind of dicey right there. Um,
I can see The Rock putting the end to some wars. I can really see them like, hey Putin, know your role, jabroni.
it's Vice President Kane. Yeah, that's good people's elbow. That's good people's eyebrow right there. That's I sometimes when I don't shave my eyebrow, I have an automatic people's eyebrow when I don't shave it, it automatically goes up and it just kind of stays there. That's what the kids would always tell me. They tell me that, and they'd also like the Spanish kids. They'd always call me devil. And I was like, what Spanish lore is out there where someone that has like slightly raised eyebrows is a devil?
El
Don't call me that.
Diablo. El
Yeah,
Diablo.
that's what they would say, man. They would like call me this in front of my mom and grandmother. We're walking down the street. They yell out devil. It's like, come on, man.
Getting bullied for your grandma. Crazy working.
It is.
Spanish. In
Yeah.
Spanish.
It's
Mira, mira. Mira, mira. El Diablo. Ven aquí.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Shout out to 183rd, man.
uh,
So we'll see with Biden, man. I don't people. Some people are suggesting the idea like, oh man, oh damn, you go. That's
my camera fell off my laptop.
big dog. I was cooking. You de-risk.
No.
No, no, I'm joking. But like a lot of people are suggesting like, oh man, COVID could like take Biden out because of his age. I don't think COVID's taking Biden out. I think like when you're in that position, you're getting the top quality care. I don't think he has any minus like what or may or may not be the cognitive stuff. I don't think he has any like comorbids or anything like that. So I don't think that's going to take Biden out. I think if anything, depending on what strain, it may impact the brain fog situation, which wouldn't be great. But I don't think it's like people are like, oh, this is going to like take him out. I'm like, I don't think it is. But we'll see. They're saying he could drop out of the race as of this weekend without anyone really upfront. I haven't seen Beyonce make any statements yet. I haven't checked Instagram today, but no one's really in the forefront. So I don't know who they're going to put up there if he does drop out. But I guess more to come. Do you think there's anything that could help Biden? Like, is there any sort of like, I don't know if the being shot at necessarily helped Trump. I think in a lot of ways it empowered him. Is there anything that can empower Biden to make him look favorable in the people's eyes and hearts?
Out in the youth?
Bounty. He just does a photo shoot in the Fountain of Youth. He's all smiling and all that stuff, and making a joke out of it.
No. What we need to do is we need to do an AI campaign of Biden in the Fountain of Youth with like abs. They come pictures. Just put pictures of Biden looking young on billboards. That made me feel better.
I think one that could help him out is like he enters a Rubik's Cube competition, and like they have to rig the competition. Like he can't be doing the Rubik's Cube on his own. They definitely have to rig it. But if he places in a Rubik's Cube competition, I think that'll look very favorable in the American people's hearts.
Oh man.
He starts licking the cube.
Start petting. You know how he pets little girls' hairs.
This doesn't taste like candy.
That's a pretty good one.
Real quick before we get into other stuff, we'll give a shout out. I won't give his because I have a different one for prop suggestions, all that stuff. But did you see the Kill Tony one with Shane and Adam Ray?
Yeah, I did see clips of it. That was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, man! Like it was solid, and like the Adam Ray, his Biden one was like that was one of the better Biden impressions I've seen in quite some time. And Shane did Shane. But beyond like just doing like a clip or a sketch, did it for like 2 hours plus. It was very impressive.
Yeah, that's good. That's good work, man.
Yeah, man. If
Shane look and sound just like him. It's crazy.
I was playing for Lisa this morning, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like he really does a solid impression." And to stretch that out for that long, man, it was good.
It's not even Shane doing Trump. Trump just does Shane.
Man. Yeah, shout out to Massenburg.
Did you see the what's his name? Eminem talked about Candace Owens on his new album. You know, Eminem put a new album out, Death of Slim Shady.
No, so I've listened to a few. I didn't listen to the whole album. I know there's like it's an Eminem album. You throw shots at different people and stuff.
Yeah.
What did you say about Candace Owens?
So apparently, Candace Owens said something about him. I'm not even 100% sure exactly what she said, but he fired back at her, calling her a B, calling her a big B, and then he said, "You're not even black," or something like that. To that
Eminem said that.
Yeah, he's like, "You forgot you were black," or something like that.
I mean, it's Eminem, so I can't be. Usually, I'd be like, "Oh, don't label people whether they're black or not, especially if you're white." But it's Eminem, so I'm like, that checks out. Eminem says whatever he wants to say and all that stuff, and he's rhyming while doing it. So, yeah, because I don't fully know the whole thing. Do you have a particular take on this?
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that he said that she wasn't black because of whatever she does, right? Like I don't think that a white person
Right.
could, you know what I mean? Like, well, you're not black because you don't do this, or you're black because you do like
That's one of
who
my
are
least favorite things. I don't like that in any way.
yeah.
Yeah, that shit does bother me. But like with Eminem, I would say like one, they're both in their own rights kind of polarizing figures, and Eminem, he in particular, he's I've just heard some of the stuff he has said on this album, and like he's kind of just throwing stuff out. So like it's not, I guess I'm not completely shocked. It's expected that Eminem would say something kind of wild. I'm it's a little bit more I haven't really heard him talk about race as much, particularly for black like culture, and I feel like he's had so much respect for it. So I guess that part's a little surprising, but at the other end of it, it's Candace Owens has also said some wild shit too. So I get why that would come. He goes at a lot of people that are perceived as kind of easy targets, and I get how that would be a thing.
Yeah, I get like I love Eminem. Like I listened to the Eminem show last night. You know what I mean? But
Will you say that's your favorite album from him?
I don't know. Out of the first three,
Yeah,
I love them all. Like I don't know. Because like each one does something for me differently. But that's neither here nor there.
yeah,
But he's too in touch with our culture. Just I feel like to think that that was like he know he was drawing for saying like I know he normally does pick fun at people and is provocative and all those things, but he normally doesn't say the wrong things.
yeah. Well, some people were saying that about the line he had about Megan Thee Stallion about I want to get a feat, like I want to get her to do a feature, but he did a double entendre where it's like I'm gonna get a shot at her feet. Do I have a shot at her feet? A feature, and some people were like, "Yo, she got shot in her foot. Don't say that about her." So some people were saying that, but I wasn't too
That's
shocked by it.
I think that's a good play on words. It's clever. It's witty. It's funny.
Yeah.
That when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's called bars. Like like I don't think Meg Thee Stallion was like got beef with Eminem now. No, it was
Yo,
bars. Show what that smoke. Uh,
uh, well, I feel like every album and basically every song or such, there's always like a line or so that people make note of with Eminem, and I feel like he is maybe aware of it and uses it to his leverage. And he talks about it a lot on this album. So I get while I don't agree with that sentiment in any way, particularly coming from like a white dude, I'm not shocked by it. Like I'm not like, oh man, Eminem said that. It's like, that's at this point, it's like Eminem, he says stuff.
yeah, man. Like I always say, you give white guys an inch, just take 8 miles.
You're wilding. You're a wild guy. You're a comedian.
I want to be a comedian. Um, yeah, that was my take on it. Like I agree with what he said, but I don't think he should be saying it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't crazy about it. I didn't listen to the full album. The stuff that I heard, it was solid. I just haven't listened to the full thing in that way. I listened to one that had Big Sean on there, and yeah, it's very much like he's flowing all that stuff. But I guess I haven't found one yet where I'm like, yo, that's really like I'm like resonating with it. But I really like you, man. I love Eminem, and he has a lot of cool stuff. I was listening to Slim Shady LP this weekend and all that, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
With that, let's get some prop suggestions.
So my proper suggestion is to listen to Common's new album. Common just dropped the album, 100% produced by Pete Rock,
Oh,
legendary Pete Rock. You don't know about Pete Rock, you don't know about hip hop.
Hmm.
It's called The Auditorium, Volume 1, which means there'll be more. Yo, I listened to it. It's beautiful. Like Common's, Common's the kind of rapper you got to listen to the album 3 or 4 times. You be dropping entendres on entendres. You're gonna be googling stuff.
I had no idea he had a new album. That's
Yeah,
why
my
my
last week, I
Spotify
think.
is ticking me off because like that's something my Spotify should notify me of.
Mhm.
It's like
Well,
it's yeah, I've been getting a lot of like, here's a new song by Maggie Rogers, and Maggie Rogers, great stuff. I do like when Spotify can please continue to do that. But I feel like some diversity would help with it. Like, I love hip hop. I like Common. Give me some Common.
You don't have Spotify, you have Alan-fi. So you know, check out the auditorium. It's
Yeah.
dope, yo, man. Pete Rock, the samples, everything. It's good music, bro. Like it's really good music. And one
Yeah.
thing I was thinking about. I listened to it this morning. I was thinking about this. I don't I don't think that young people listen to stuff like this.
Wait, young people listen to say it again?
Stuff like this. Like
Oh.
as I was driving, I was like, yo, this that new hotness. And I was like,
Young people aren't saying things like that. This is that new hotness. That's probably where the disconnect goes. This is that new hotness.
this is a
Roll the
banger.
windows down.
This is a banger, yo. Feel this. Yeah, so I don't know. It's good music though, but I was thinking about it though. I was like, I don't know if like people in a 21-year-old is going to put that new Common and Pete Rock on, but I know
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah, that's why I think it's like particular type of 21-year-old. Like back when we were teens and all that stuff. Like a lot of people were listening to like Laffy Taffy and all that, which is fine. There's a space for Laffy Taffy, but like there were people within like our leagues or like just people that sought it out that was like, oh, new Ghostface just came out. So they're not as celebrated, and while Common's maybe not on like the radio like that, people are checking. I just wish that Spotify would allow me to be one of those people. 'Cause it'd be
But
nice.
that's why people aren't checking though, because it ain't suggesting it. It ain't coming up on your playlist.
Are there any features on this?
No, there's
Okay.
one. There's one. I think it's one of the guys from De La Soul.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Pretty sure. Pretty sure. But it's only one because they were talking about that. Like he was just like, no, they locked in. They just put the project together. Like,
That's a cool move. When you think of like all the three quintessential East Coast albums, Ready to Die, Reasonable Doubt, Illmatic, they only had one feature. I think it's cool when rappers go back to that.
J. Cole's known for that too.
Really?
Yeah, I think his first one that went platinum didn't have no features.
Oh yeah, that's that grippy song is still in my head. that's, that's been my ringtone for like 2 months now. That's it isn't. Well, my prop suggestion for the people, man. I kind of alluded to it earlier on, but it's a brewery out in Elizabethville, Pennsylvania, which I didn't know even existed. I didn't know Elizabethville was a thing, but it's out towards Harrisburg, and it's called Bearded Lady Brewing. Bearded Lady Brewing, and this place is ridiculous, man. So like it feels very much like a bar in Fishtown put in the middle of a farm. Like there's not a lot of stuff around it. The nearest brewery is like 20 miles away. Like this is like the spot. And did a show out there. Shout out to Leah Brown, Glenn Tickle. When Glenn told me about this, I was like, where is this? Like I was putting the GPS and I was like, yo, I may be getting like sex trafficked right now. Like I have no clue where this is. But showed up. And the brewery, it's two major rooms. Shout out to Becca and Cody, I believe it was, the owners there. They're a couple. They put it all together. And the whole thing is set to look up like a carnival. So like they have a bunch of like antique looking figures with like clowns. They have like a bunch of like pretty much you'd see like stuff like an I Spy books and carnivals. Like like a paper elephant is on the room. Those two plants, I think Aubrey #2 from Little Shop of Horrors, on each side of the stage, there's two versions of those plants. It's a very cool setup, and how they use that space. I was just taken aback by it, especially in such an isolated location. And they hooked me up too. They're like they good crowd and all that stuff. Where they don't really have a lot going on there, so like people showed up. Like it was a very cool venue. They're going to start to be doing more comedy out there, so. Harrisburg comics, if you're listening to this, they'll be kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, I want to give them a shout out. Definitely worth.
What city is it in?
Not Naked Lady. Bearded Lady Brewing.
I said what city?
Oh, Elizabethville, which it's closer to you than me, but
I never heard of that.
I thought they meant Elizabethtown.
Yeah.
And then I put it in. I was like, "What's Elizabethville? What?" And it's a very real place. And the people are aching for some comedy, but they don't have it yet.
But those places, I did a show last night. We are talking about this. There's like those places in the middle of nowhere. Ain't nothing to do. Ain't ever no comedy shows. They
Yeah,
come into that comedy show when it happens. They come in.
yeah. It's yeah, they rocked out, man. It was good. It was one of those ones where it's like, oh, I should have video recorded this one. It was but for next time if we end up back over there.
That's how it always goes. The ones that you should record, you never do.
Yeah. I have so many audio recordings where I'm like, I could I guess I could put this together into something, but it's like sometimes it's nice of like and some people have the thing where they have a hard time listening to themselves. I don't have that. Like there's times where like I'll just be having a night in, I'm drinking a few beers, and I'm like, let's check out a set from me. And I'll listen to a set, and it's not completely egotistical because what I'll do is that I'll have the notebook next to me and I'll have like edits that I can make, and that's been like kind of a cool part of the process. But it is kind of wild. Like if you're a tenant above or below me, sometimes you'll just hear me playing me, and out of nowhere, just big chunks of laughter.
You laughing at yourself is hilarious.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be saying some wild shit. So it's like, goddamn, that was sick. That's
You'd be like, blah, blah.
it's, it really is the case. Yeah, the other day, man, I was working out to it while watching my comedy. I started getting hyped. I started like doing a bunch of push-ups too. It's a wild thing, but it's helpful for the process.
You're kind of guy that turns himself on by looking in the mirror.
I won't even get into that right now, but I was just having that conversation. I was just having a conversation. And I'm surprised how many people don't have that ability. It's kind of crazy of like you got this, I guess it depends on like how you perceive things and all that, but like sometimes like that's all you really need. You just need a mirror and some hope. It's like this is I got it going on right now.
It's some hope.
Yeah, this is I won't get too graphic on that stuff, but for the listeners, you want to get your Dijon going on stuff, or your Dijon for the fellas. Uh have a thing where you're just looking at yourself and then like you get kind of riled up by yourself sort of thing, like while they're watching. I won't get into too much like, but it's an empowering move,
I'm one of the wildest bulls out there, and I ain't never did that before.
bro. You gotta give it a shot.
I'm one
I
of the
feel like
wildest bulls, and I never did that.
yeah, I feel like you're of the league of people that like digs your body and all that stuff too. So it's like
That's what I'm saying. I never did that though. Like I'm a wild bull, and I'll leave it at that. But I never did that. Like I never did that part. That's yeah.
consider it, bro. Don't think of me because I'm the one like don't you think you be preoccupied with your body and all that stuff, but like yeah, just know that I'm planting seed.
Close my eyes, think of Kirk and on top of his head. On top of his head.
Producer Pat, if you could, it's, it's,
Producer, yo, that's so funny that you call it. You telling our parents, Mom,
it's
Alan's in here doing it again.
Producer Pat
Producer
knows.
Pat.
Like whenever I mention that, it's like that's the code right there. I didn't have to say it, but cut it. It's, I can leave it in. Before we dip back, because I feel like this has been kind of a long one on stuff. I haven't seen you in a while. It's been a minute. And shout out to producer Pat. He's made a successful move out to Austin, making moves out there, making connections, getting on stage and all that stuff. Man, that's pretty wild to see. I want to talk to him afterwards. It looked like he has like Bruce Pat may have like a pool at where he lives. I'm like, yeah, it's a crazy move right there. That's wild.
Oh.
Yeah, man. But I want to give just a quick note to this. I won't do the whole exploration of how your boy was in Maine, getting busy at National Acadia Park. First national park I ever went to. It was a gay old time. I'll give a shout out to the Beehive Trail. There's a trail where it's only a mile long, but it's like all vertical. So you're climbing rungs and ladders and all that stuff. It was a wild thing to do. One of the wilder things I've done, I'm curious your take on this, is it was a Wednesday night. Everyone kind of called it early night. It was midnight. And I was like, we're 5 minutes away from this major lake called Echo Lake. And we had been there earlier and all that stuff. I had a car. So I was like, I'm going to drive to Echo Lake. And since there's no light pollution, it's going to be a cool place to see the stars. The moon will reflect on the water. I even brought my notebook because I was like, oh, I'll do some writing. out there. Granted, it's midnight. I pull up to this place and it is pitch black. Like it is like it's dark. It's like, and then immediately I'm like, I'm kind of frightened. Like it occurred to me while I was there, like I rolled down the windows and then like I started hearing like noises of nature. And granted, it's a major parking lot, so it wasn't completely like in the woods, but it was like it made me recognize like the power of nature. I was like, oh wow, it's completely dark out here. I only have my flashlight. I started hearing these crazy noises by the water, which I'm actually gonna put it on right now because I'm curious to see if like you could recognize what those things are because I have yet to find out exactly what they are. If the listeners could hear what this is. It was crazy, crazy noise, man. And have you ever been like in a park, let alone like a national park, like when it's deserted, like when it's like people have left, just you there?
I've never been in a national park.
This is my first time going one, and I recommend it because I thought I'd been to one. Turns out Pennsylvania does not have any, which is crazy.
Yeah, and like the whole national park thing just means like it's gated off and they let some animals chill without killing them, right?
Well, I think there's some parts, but yeah, but like I guess there's few places that they have themselves listed as a national park, but in order to be constituted as a national park, you have to pretty much be I don't know if it's necessarily funded by but managed by like the National Park Agency of America. I don't know if that's the full name or not. And there's only 64 that are actually have the agency with them. So places like Acadia, one of the closest one to us is Shenandoah in West Virginia.
I
But
heard
so
that.
while we have a buttload of parks in Pennsylvania, none of them are national.
Yeah, because they're only in one state. How can it be a national park?
Oh my
Not
god,
across. They're not across the nation.
man, you know that's wrong. Like Grand Canyon, that's a national park. Never been there either, though. But yeah, it's I highly recommend if you ever get a chance. If we ever, it would be kind of cool to do like a little camping trip with you and all that stuff. If we ever go to like Shenandoah, that would be nice.
Record a pod in a tent.
Wait, what?
We record a podcast in a tent.
Oh yeah, I heard something something tent. I was like, what? And then yeah, but yeah, Gordon tent that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. We should do it.
Nice.
But in the meantime,
Well,
before we get out of here, we got to tell the people what we're doing next month. On August 3rd,
third,
Saturday,
yeah,
August 3rd, it's Music Fest. Music Fest, which if you don't know, it's the largest ungated festival in the country, which means it don't cost anything to get in. Anybody can get in. And we're doing comedy. We're doing a live proper Ebonics show at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. at the
yeah.
Music Fest
Ice
Festival,
House,
Ice House.
yeah,
And
man,
so Saturday, that's at 2 o'clock, August 3rd. And also that same day, August 3rd, we're on stand-up comedy shows that night. So
yeah,
stay for the live proper Ebonics and watch us do stand-up at the showcases after that. I
yeah,
think it's
man.
4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, like 9 o'clock. I think I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I think we're on the same shows. Like I think I'm doing the family friendly one at 4:30, uh, and I'm doing a 7 o'clock that night.
yeah,
So
man.
yeah, it's come through, man. It's gonna be like we're gonna be doing the podcast, maybe some guests coming through, some secret guests. We'll see. And then yeah, we're gonna doing some stand up afterwards. So come by, shake our hands, take some photos and all that
It's
stuff.
in it's in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I don't think I said that. Music Fest takes place in
Oh,
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for those familiar with Music Fest and all that stuff, they know that and all that. But like, yeah, Bethlehem comes through, and afterwards, there's so much other comedy stuff happening too. Like, you're probably gonna be preoccupied with watching us
Yeah.
since we're like packed out
No.
there. But like afterwards, there's other stuff too. Like, I think they're doing like an improvised stand up that night. So you consider that.
Nah, son. They can promote it on their own podcast. If we ain't on the show, don't even stay, yo. Promote on. No, just kidding. Come to Bethlehem. Watch all the comedy. Drink all the beer. There's gonna be music, funnel cakes. I love funnel cakes. Yeah, so it'll be a good time.
Yeah, man. But yeah, check us out there. That's probably going to be our next one. We're going to be doing some more live ones, and that's going to be kind of the jump start of it all. So yeah, come check it out there. And beyond that, yeah, come watch our stand up. Do you have any shows you want to promote or anything like that?
Nah, I got Harrisburg next week. I got Delaware. I'm all, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. See me on the pages. Follow me on the back pages. I got a bunch of different stuff coming up. See me when you see me. But mainly come out to Bethlehem Musikfest, August 3rd. It's gonna be a fun time.
Sure.
Yeah,
Bro.
man. Cool, man. Thanks for listening. Be easy. Later.